Feeling overwhelmed by all the financial advice out there? What if I told you that in just 10 minutes you could create a solid halal financial plan that aligns with your faith and sets you on the path to financial freedom? Welcome back everyone. My name is Omar, and on this channel I share practical tips on making money online, personal finance and self-development, all while staying aligned with Islamic principles. Before we dive in, if you appreciate concise, actionable and halal focused content like this, hit the like button. It keeps me motivated and helps this video reach more people just like you and I. In today's video, I'm going to guide you through creating the best halal financial plan in just 10 minutes. And by the end of this video, you'll have a simple step-by-step halal financial plan. So stay tuned. We'll cover budgeting, saving, investing, and avoiding haram financial traps, all in a way that's easy to follow. So grab a pen and a paper and stick with me till the end. Okay, step one. I want you to map your current finances so that you understand where you are right now. If you've ever wondered why your money disappears so quickly, well, the answer is very simple. You're simply not tracking it. You can't manage what you can't measure, right? So the goal here is to track every dollar, euro, or dirham you spend and start dividing your expenses in 3 categories. The first one is the essentials. This covers your non-negotiables like rent, utilities, food, and transportation. The second one is discretionary. Things like eating out, hobbies, shopping, and other extra expenses. And the third one is savings. And this is the money you have left after subtracting all your expenses. As a rule of thumb, essentials shouldn't exceed 50% of your income, discretionary not more than 20%, and at least 30% of your income should be saved. Of course, the more the better. For example, if you earn $2,000 per month, $1,000 will go to essentials, $400 to discretionary, and $600 in savings. But now, how do you track all of this? You can use budgeting apps like YNAB, or a simple Google Sheet that you can fill out at the end of every week or month. I personally use a Google Sheet, so if you want to have one like mine, comment the word Google Sheet and I'll send it to you. Tracking your expenses, if you've never done it, it's like turning on a light in a dark room. You'll finally spot the money suckers in your life, those sneaky little expenses draining your wallet. I'd like to call them money vampires. For example, you might realize you're spending a fortune on takeout, paying for a bunch of unused subscriptions, or buying clothes that you don't really need. These habits creep up on you and drain your wallet without you even noticing. But let me be clear, I'm not one of those personal finance gurus who will tell you to live on ramen noodles and never spend a dime on anything fun. The key is to figure out what really brings you happiness and focus your spending there. I want you to be intentional and cut out the things that don't add value to your life. So for example, if traveling fills your soul, budget for it. But if that daily Starbucks run doesn't make a big difference in your happiness, then why not try brewing your coffee at home and taking it with you? Simple swaps like that can make a big impact, and the numbers don't lie. So for example, canceling a $20 a month subscription saves you $240 a year. Cooking at home instead of spending $300 a month on takeout, that's $3,600 saved annually. So these small changes add up massive wins over time. And later in this video, we'll see based on your financial goals if the money you are saving is enough. The most important thing is to be really aware of where your money is going. Awareness is the first step towards taking control of your finances and building the life you want. So let's say you are consistently saving 30% or more of your income. Now, what do you do with it? This takes us to step 2, which is having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is like a safety net for your money. It's here to help you when life surprises you, like a medical bill, losing your job, or fixing a car. If you don't have savings for emergencies, you might end up borrowing money or using haram loans. And of course, we want to avoid that. So, how much money should you save? It depends on every situation, but a good rule is to save 3 to 6 months of your basic expenses. For example, if you spend $2,000 a month on essentials, you should aim to save between $6,000 and $12,000. Now, if you have kids or a family who rely on you, it's a good idea to save even more, perhaps 1 or 2 years of expenses. It all depends on what makes you feel safe and secure. But make sure this money is kept in a halal savings account. Many Islamic banks offer accounts without interest, or you can just use a halal cash fund. Just make sure that it's easy to access when you need it. It might take time to build your emergency fund, but it's one of the best ways to feel more in control and prepared for whatever life throws at you. So now that you've got your emergency fund in place, what's next? The third step is to clearly define your financial goals and a time frame for each goal. So what do you want to achieve? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to retire early? Whatever your goals may be, break them down into specific, achievable steps. Let's say your goal is to buy a house in the next 3 years. You should start by calculating how much you'll need for the down payment. So for example, if the house you want costs $400,000 and you need a 20% down payment for an Islamic loan, that's $80,000 saved up. Now, if your goal is early retirement, let's say you want to retire comfortably at 45, to do this, you need to define how much money you'll need to sustain yourself. Here's an example. Let's say that you want to live off $50,000 a year. There is a rule called the 4% rule. It's a popular guideline in retirement planning, and it suggests that if you withdraw 4% of your savings annually, adjusted for inflation, you can sustain your funds for at least 30 years. So, how much would you need saved up to make this possible? You should take your annual withdrawal amount, let's say $50,000 as we defined, and multiply that by 25. This gives you a rough idea of the amount you need in investments to retire comfortably. In this case, you would need $1.25 million. Now you're gonna tell me that's too much, but we're gonna cover that later on in this video. So now that you're clear on your financial goals and their time frames, what's next? Step 4. You should organize your finances and analyze the feasibility of that plan. So let's take the first goal, saving $80,000 in 3 years to buy a home with an Islamic mortgage. If you're currently saving $2,500, here's how to check if your goal is realistic. To save $80,000 in 3 years, you need to save $80,000 divided by 36 months. And this gives you $2,222 per month. Since you're already saving $2,500 monthly, you can comfortably allocate $2,222 towards your down payment goal. This leaves you with $278 per month for other expenses, savings, or lifestyle goals. You'll also need to research Islamic mortgage options like murabaha or ijara and understand how factors like your income, savings, and financial standing impact your borrowing capacity. Knowing these details will really help you plan better and qualify for the mortgage you need. And now let's talk about the long-term goal, which is retiring early. So again, if you're 30 and you want to retire, let's say by age 45, and you'll need, for example, $50,000 per year. This is the number that we have defined as an example. The 4% rule suggests that you need a portfolio, as we said, $1.25 million. Now, to reach the $1.25 million in 15 years, assuming an 8% annual return from sharia-compliant investments, you will need to invest $4,300 per month. If this amount seems daunting, you should explore halal investment options like real estate, gold, sukuks, or sharia-compliant ETFs and stocks. These options can help grow your wealth over time in a way that aligns with your values. But here's the reality, okay? You won't be able to work on all your goals at once. That's why prioritization is key. Let me give you a personal example. So in my case, when I was employed, my financial goals were, first of all, to build a solid emergency fund, to leave my job and start my business. Second was to save for a home. And third was to work toward financial freedom. And my priority was clear. I focused first on the emergency fund because I needed that cushion to take the leap into entrepreneurship. Once my business stabilized, I shifted my focus to saving for a house. And when I got the house, I directed all my energy toward achieving financial freedom through saving and investing. Which brings us to step 5, which is refining your plan. After analyzing your plan, you might realize that at your current pace, you'll struggle to meet your goal, and this is where you need to adapt. And you have 3 options really to adapt. And you can use a combination of them depending on your situation. The first one is to increase your income, obviously. So start a side hustle, change jobs, grow your business, or upskill to boost your earning potential. The second option is to cut expenses aggressively. So you have to identify and eliminate unnecessary costs. Simplify your lifestyle to save faster. You can get really creative here. So for example, you can consider getting a roommate, downsizing your home, or even finding a remote job, or moving to a more affordable country with lower living costs and taxes. This is something that I did, by the way. And the third option is to simply adjust your goals. You can lower your target amount. So instead of $50,000 a year, you can reduce that, or extend the time frame. So instead of 15 years, make it 20, or a mix of both to make it more achievable. When I was employed and saving aggressively, I rented a tiny studio on the outskirts of Paris. It was a small and on the ground floor, but I was willing to make that sacrifice just to grow my emergency fund as quickly as possible. Later, when I started my business and wanted to save for a home, I moved to a more affordable country with lower taxes. This allowed me to save even faster while scaling my income. Now, after readjusting your plan, remember that achieving your financial goals is a journey that requires commitment and flexibility. Your ability to adapt to life's changes and stay disciplined will determine how quickly you reach your targets. Whether it's increasing your income, cutting back expenses, or adjusting your timeline, every step you take gets you closer to financial freedom. And don't forget that even small sacrifices today can lead to massive rewards tomorrow. Take control of your finances, align them with your values, and trust the process. And of course, trust Allah. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe for more halal investing and personal finance tips. Hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop new content, and leave a comment below. What's your biggest financial goal for this year? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.